Hi, this is Pat Zelenka. In today's episode, we're going to look at my blue Paisley Telecaster. I'm hopeful that you'll learn a little bit about how you can improve the sound of your Tele today. I've done some upgrades to this. Check them out. All right, well, great episode today because I've always wanted to mod out a Tele this way, and I'm pretty proud of it. It's just some simple things that I think that would translate over to your Telecaster too, and fairly affordable things for the most part. I love Fender guitars, but I don't love some features in some Fenders, if that makes any sense. So a bit of background. I had been looking for a Paisley or Blue Flower or something Tele for a while that I could do some mods to. I really couldn't pick up one of the pink Paisley Japanese models right then. I just didn't have the cash, and I was really wanting something unique that I could, I don't know, bump into and see. So I was, it was about 3 or 4 years ago, I was at the 30th anniversary of the Michigan Guitar Show. And it was at the Emerald Theater down by Detroit. And a ton of dealers there. Just crazy. Now, the Emerald is regularly just a concert venue. But that weekend had been rented out by Gordy, who runs Gordy's Music in Ferndale, because he's the guy who puts on the show. And my wife and I went, and we were walking through there. And all of a sudden, I felt her grab my arm. She spun me around and went. And I looked. And there was this sitting there in a stand. We both immediately rushed over there because we buy gear together, as I've mentioned in other episodes. And so we were quite excited to see this, especially too because it was blue Paisley. And I've had some comments on that about this guitar since I've owned it. And I'm not normally a Tele guy, but I do like to beef them out a bit if I have one. I haven't owned a Tele in years, and I was looking for a regular one that I could take around. You know, fairly lightweight. Some Teles, and this one's, I don't know, it's about average, about 8 pounds, 9 pounds. Anyway, we went up and talked to the guy, and to make a long story short, we bought this from him. Frets were pretty low, whatnot. So what this guitar really is it's a Fender Mexican neck, and you've probably thought of this already. This is a body from Guitar Fetish. And there were some imperfections in the finish and stuff, but I don't think it came from Guitar Fetish like that. So as you can see on the back, this is a pretty distinct Paisley. And it just had real plain hardware, a really plain pickguard. It had the vintage 60s tuners that you string in from the top of the tuner. I'm not really a fan of those, so we kind of to that. And thus the changes began. So what was in there, as far as I could tell, were a set of super cheap, they were like a 7.5 or something output Tele pickups. They were mass produced. They looked like Squire pickups to me. And the guy who was selling it, you know, he kind of got it that way. He was just trying to flip it. And I understood that. So a lot of what I'm going to tell you about here that I custom did to this would apply to Stratocasters too. I would do this with any single coil pickup guitar. So immediately I swapped out both the pots for 500K instead of 250K pots. And we'll go back over that later. Then I switched the control plate, as you can probably notice, where it's volume, tone, and your three-way instead of the other way around. And I like that. Bill Kirchen, if you're not familiar with him, Mr. Hot Rod Lincoln, he does that, and I just thought that was such a brilliant thing. I thought next time I get a Tele, I'm going to do that. The pickups are a Seymour Duncan quarter pounder set. I'm a big fan of those. And the control plating is from wish.com, but it's engraved. It's a really cool look with the paisley, I thought. Picked up Perloid Tele pick guard. I thought that would look great with this. And I put brand new Grover Mini Rotomatics 6-in-line on that. I love those on Fenders. And then the fretboard, it's to the same radius and everything, which was fairly flat. And I put Jescar jumbo frets on that. Now that's a pretty tall fret. It's the same fret wire you'd get on a Heritage. Well, American-made Heritages, or maybe say the John Schofield model Ibanez would be a lot like that. And I've always really, really liked that gigantic fret wire, especially on Fender guitars, primarily, because I think that it makes a big difference in how they feel and play. And kind of like the whole sweep of the note is a lot easier on these. You don't really have to fight a Strat or a Tele after that. They benefit, well, from just jumbo frets too, but these were fairly tall and they felt good to me, and they're good for really expressive slow playing or extremely fast. So why would I go from a 250K standard pot to a 500K? Now, a lot of you out there already know why, but for those of you that don't, and you always got to learn it somewhere, so, you know, no harm, no foul. It really it thickens the sound of your single coils. It pushes more power, and makes your single coils just sound very mighty. Add to that they're Duncan quarter pounders. If you own a Tele, the Duncan quarter pound to me is one of the best pickup sets out there. And I would do that to any Telecaster immediately. I just think they're a great balanced pickup, and they have a really thick sound. And it really increases the presence of your chord and lead work. It's kind of hard to beat, you know, really, to me. So, but let's take a listen to this thing. We'll see what we did. Now, I did include a slideshow. I did not include a slideshow of pictures earlier because there's really no need to, man. I didn't change the, you know, it's not like the Bernie Les Paul episode I did where we had to strip it right down to the wood. So let's take a listen to this thing. I've got this plugged into straight. I've got a Mercury Magnetics hyped up tweed, 15-watt tweed with you know, no reverb tank, just a straight tweed Fender type amp. And I really love this amp. It really cuts through. So let's just kind of listen really quietly here first. And that's another reason for flipping the controls over. The swells are easy. Now, there's almost a bit of a distortion. Yeah. You hear the neck really has like a warmth to it. I mean, you could play all night with just the one guitar. Now, this is both together. Neck. Bridge. You can hear like the pinch harmonics really come out on that. Yeah. A little sloppy there. Yeah. And it seems kind of balanced in between too, but I really like the punch of that bridge pickup. And imagine that with a boost pedal, you know, like a nice clean boost, like an MXR or something. Yeah, great. Now, I've been plugging this in for overdrive through a Soul Food that I have a germanium upgrade with. So the caps are now germanium caps. It kind of makes that guitar makes that pedal, I should say, a lot more articulate. Sounds great with single coils and humbuckers, but I feel like it really brings out a lot of power in single coil pickups to have the germanium caps in there. Standard paper and oil cap in this. And as you can hear, man, it just really has a big, loud sound, boy. It just no prisoners, you know, so to speak. Yeah. But I really love that neck pickup on there. It really makes your leads just pop, especially when you change out that pot, you know, for a 500K. And I did that to my yellow Strat too, and I'll feature the yellow Strat in another video. And I used overwound Duncans in that. There's a set they sell. It's the set with the David Gilmour neck pickup. I just am very in love with that too for Stratocasters. In upcoming episodes, I'm going to feature a few guitars I've done weird things to. Or what I consider to be pretty solid performance upgrades, like with the yellow Strat. And I have a Fender offset pawn in pink that now has purple hardware. Long story short. And I put mini humbuckers in that. I have a Ibanez Geo I did some work on. Yada, yada, yada. So look for that in future episodes. But I am extremely happy with the way this turned out. And my good friend Johnny did a great job on this. His fret work is great. And I take all my stuff to him right now because, well, he and my friend John, they kind of, there's two Johns there. There's Johnny and John. If that makes any sense. But they're both great guys. They do good work. I am extremely happy with how this turned out. I can't imagine it sounding any better. It's just a nasty little rude Telecaster, and that's what I was looking for. Hey, thanks for checking this out. Links to places like Guitar Fetish, the pickups I bought, things like that are below. You know, obviously mini Rotomatics you can find anywhere. Either online or in store, and the pickups too, I guess. But I'll put some links below if you want to check them out and hear some videos and whatnot. But I've been very turned on to these for Telecasters, and I am very happy with that. So thanks for stopping by. Check it out and subscribe and like. I need you. We all do. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
To leave.